Hey guys, Marsing here bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to be doing the team building guide for the LR Trunks and MAI Extreme Z battle that we'll be releasing on JP. I think it comes out in like 10 hours from the time that this video is going to go up, so if you're seeing it as soon as it goes up, the event's going to be out in under 12 hours on the JP side. So this is a typical LR EZA, Extreme Z battle, so there are only 10 stages. You do get 3 stones for completing each one instead of 1, so you do still get 30 stones overall, which is obviously pretty good. You do get the 5 Kais you need to get the LR from 20 to 25. Obviously you get all the medals, and you also get a bunch of the STR orbs as well, which will be useful for future units, because I'm assuming there probably will be an Extreme Z banner for these guys and Rose and Zamasu. I wonder if they'll do just one for both, because the Rose and Zamasu one should be coming out at the same time, so there will be a guide going up for that one as well a couple of hours after this one, just to give them a little bit of space in between. So with LR EZAs, the gimmick of course always is that you need the legendary power link in order to do more damage, so you want to bring as many LRs on the team as possible. But obviously with some of the power of the TURs that we have in the game now, especially with 200% leaders, it is not 100% necessary. So I beat one of the last EZAs on Global using a full 200% team with no LRs. So it takes a little bit longer because you obviously do less damage overall, but it's perfectly doable. And then of course, when it comes to the special category, this is what allows your units to tank better. So if you bring units not on the category, which for this one is Worldwide Chaos, even if, for example, it's an AGL unit, they are still going to take a reasonable amount of damage if they're not in the category. So you want to try and bring as many Worldwide Chaos units as possible. I saw people joking about Worldwide Chaos when the Vegito Blue and STR Rose EZA was going to come out, because obviously the category, as you can see here, is not particularly big. It's pretty much made up of like 3 specific types of character, or subtypes of character. And of course we're going to go through all the different options in this video. So as always with my team building guides, I'm going to go over my top picks and honourable mentions. If there are any units you think I missed out or that I should have talked more about, make sure you let me know down below in the comments section. And of course, if you find this video helpful, do hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So let's go ahead and jump straight in. Obviously the tech androids are the actual proper leader, the only one for Worldwide Chaos. That of course makes them the best option for the lead, because not only are they giving full 170 across the board for stats, but it gives you the bigger range of options for who you bring on the team, because obviously you can bring any Worldwide Chaos unit without them having to fit under a different type of lead, because obviously we will go over some of the other units that you can bring as a leader instead of these guys if you don't have them. But if you do have them, you should definitely be bringing them into the event, even if you don't use them as a leader, because they create their own orbs. They get really powerful if they pick up a bunch of tech orbs, but one of the most useful things about them, especially when it comes to Extreme Z battles, is even though you're obviously fighting against Trunks and MAI, it's a joined forces unit, so it's one unit. It only counts as one enemy, which means you can use the android's active skill on turn 1, which basically ghost ushers away the entire turn and gives you a free turn before the enemy even gets to do anything, which obviously in an EZA, which an event where you can't use items, you can't heal, very, very useful to get a free turn. So these guys are probably a must run on the team, even if you're not using them as the leader. Even if you want to build a team that is, you know, doesn't run any units that would even link well with these guys, you could bring them just with the idea of using them as a 3rd slot floater in mind, and then as soon as they're on their first turn, you just use their active skill, and that's all they're on the team for. That's how valuable that ability is for an EZA. So these guys definitely one of the top picks. Now obviously if you don't have them, or you want to specialize in a specific team build, like I said, there's a couple of very clear like builds you can run. So starting off, we're going to look at the Cell units, because of course we have the Int Perfect Cell, who leads Android / Cell Saga, as well as Extreme Int. This will of course allow you to bring him, a bunch of other cells. The future androids themselves are on this on his category, and of course any extreme int types, for which there are a couple of other ones that we will mention as we go through. So this guy can definitely make a good stand-in leader. He's an older unit, so it's more likely that people will have him. He is a bit outdated now, definitely not going to be one of the best units on the team. However, he can be pretty useful with that heal, because as we already mentioned, you can't heal in EZAs in terms of using items, but if you drop to 30% or less HP, then obviously that triggers the transformation into Perfect Cell and heals you to full health. So he's definitely a very useful option, especially when you consider bringing along the EZA physical Cell and the Cell Juniors. Now, he's the only physical unit that I'm going to talk about. I think there's one other one, actually, one other LR that I'm going to talk about, because obviously Trunks and MAI STR, which means he has type disadvantage. Post EZA, though, his defense is very, very good. Especially if you're getting his 18 key super, which, considering there's only one enemy, you don't really need to worry about trying to get his AoE. Although the 12 key super can be useful to go for because it does heal you, which, again, as we've already mentioned, very good for Extreme Z battles. So I wouldn't consider bringing physical units most of the time anyway, but he's obviously going to link up really well. Like, this rotation is very, very powerful, and obviously activates legendary power, which is what you want for that extra damage. So, I mean, if this guy can get a crit to get through that type disadvantage, this rotation, he's going to do a lot of damage. So, or of course, another option is if you have the AGL Cell, who also leads Android/Cell Saga, but gives the extra 30% to androids. Even though he's a TUR, you can bring him as the lead and run his 200% lead team. So then the cells, the LR cells, the tech androids, they're all getting the 200% leader skill. So I do actually think, especially because Trunks and MAI STR and he's AGL, probably the best build is to run Cell's 200% team and then bring in LR Cell, physical LR Cell. And he also has power absorption, which covers some of the other units that we're going to talk about. So this guy, definitely a very, very good option for the leader. Next up, we have Int Goku Black. So Int Goku Black, he's starting to get a little bit outdated now, or at least in terms of his defense. But I've seen some screenshots of him, even recently, putting up still very impressive attack stat numbers. He leads Future Saga. So obviously you could run him as a leader and run a bunch of the Zamasu and Goku Black units. That's the other kind of build you can go down here. Of course, being an LR, legendary power, able to do a pretty decent amount of damage. I've got the enraged one up for some reason, but yeah, he obviously does have the rage mode, but you can't use that until turn 6, which in an EZA you're very unlikely to get to, so I wouldn't expect to see the rage mode in the Extreme Z battle. So obviously you can't use same name units in an Extreme Z battle, so if you don't have the LR Rose, obviously there are the two other options. We have the AGL and the STR TUR versions, both of which have EZAs now on JP. The STR one, arguably, of course, is probably better overall, but the AGL one does have type advantage. So I think when it comes down to deciding which of the two that you want to use, or the three if you have the LR, it pretty much just comes down to which one do you have the most dupes in, like link leveled, all that kind of thing. Like, if you have the AGL one, but it's only 55%, and you have the STR1 Rainbow full level 10 links, then pretty obvious that you're going to want to use him instead. He is much better overall. Like I say, he's a much newer EZA, so he definitely is a better unit. He's not going to be able to get the final blow, because obviously there's just one enemy, one fight, but he's still very good, especially because he supports the team as well. So any of the Rosés are obviously going to be pretty useful. This guy also fits under, as we talked about, the Int Cell leader skill, because he covers Extreme Int. So there are a few options to mix and match between these two themes. But I feel like if you have them, at least one of the Rosés is going to be useful on the team. I guess technically you could use STR Rosé as your leader as well, as long as you're including all 5 types, which is kind of annoying because, again, you don't really want to bring a physical. But you could bring Int and Physical Cell as the Int and Physical unit. So he's another option, I guess, for a stand-in leader if you don't have any of the other ones. Then obviously there is the actual LR Rose, Goku Black and Zamasu. As I said at the beginning, their EZA, at least according to the information on the Dokkan info website, the two Extreme Z battles should be coming out at the same time. And Trunks and MAI are not going to be particularly useful in the Rose Goku Black one. But he's obviously going to be very good in their one. So what I would probably suggest you do is to do this EZA first for the Tech Goku Black and Zamasu, and then you can use them in this Extreme Z battle. So like I said at the beginning, the guide for that one will be going up a little bit after this one. Then, of course, we have the base form Goku Blacks. So I've only got these two pulled up here. There is the physical one, but obviously he's type disadvantage. He's worse on JP as well. He doesn't have that key support. The AGL one, despite the fact everybody like mad underrating him when he first came out, he does have type advantage. He's buffing Future Saga allies 3 key and 40% attack and defense. So if you are running the like Goku Black and Zamasu kind of team build, he's obviously going to be very, very good for the team. He's also raising attack and defense on Super. He's going to be very good in this event. Like, eating a super early is obviously bad for him because he needs to build up defense. But even then, like, he has type advantage. He's going to be very good on the team. And then the World Tournament one, obviously, he's not quite as good. He still supports the team just as well. But obviously, as a free-to-play card, like a World Tournament Awakening, he's not quite as good. And of course has Shattering the Limit instead of Fierce Battle. So we also have the AGL Zamasu. I thought it'd be worth mentioning this guy, as old as he is, because if you want to run the full Goku Black and Zamasu team, then this guy, of course, is probably the best choice for leader, because he has HP attack 170 and 130 defense for Realm of Gods. And then he has Extreme Class as his sub-lead, so you could still bring other units on the team as well that we've mentioned in the video that are not on Realm of Gods, but that would allow you to build a full Goku Black and Zamasu team. AGL Zamasu, he's still okay, he's pretty outdated now, but against an STR enemy, like going up through the forms and everything, he's going to be pretty decent, and like I say, is probably the best leader for that team build. So next up we have the Tech Merge Zamasu. Now I only bring him up as like an honorable mention for the full Goku Black and Zamasu team, because he's a bit outdated already. I mean, I guess he wasn't even really that great when he got his EZA, but he does support Realm of God's Extreme allies, giving them 50% extra defense, which is pretty good. So he can fit in quite nicely, even if you just use him as a third slot floater, if you're going to use the full Goku Black and Zamasu team. So he could be pretty useful. Then we have some other Cell units, if you do want to run the Android/Cell Saga team. We have the Prime Battle Cell, he's a good honourable mention. He can heal on his 12 key super, which again, useful when you can't use items. So he's a pretty solid choice, doesn't have his EZA yet, but he could still be pretty decent. We have the Tech World Tournament Cell, who's a really good support unit. He basically gets all of his defense, well, he gets most of his extra defense on super, because he greatly raises defense, which is a 50% buff. So he makes a perfect third slot floating support unit. Technically, you can use him on any of the team builds we've discussed, because he just supports extreme class allies. He's not limited to a specific category that he supports, so obviously that is very useful. We also have the Extreme Tech 50% support second form cell. We have covered quite a lot of Extreme Tech units already. So, you know, if you imagine if you're running like the LR androids as your leader, sorry, the Tech androids with the Worldwide Chaos Leader skill, then you're running like Tech Goku Black and Zamasu with Tech Merge Zamasu on rotation. Like, there's a lot of really good extreme tech units you could be running on this team, and then this guy's going to be supporting them and creating orbs for them as well. So he's a bit weak himself defensively, especially at 55%, which is, I have all the 50% leads supports, but mostly at 55%, and I can say from experience in more difficult content his defense really doesn't cut it, but in the early stages at least you shouldn't have a problem. And then once you get towards the end, as long as he's not like eating a super attack, then you should be fine. Then, of course, we have the other option for the team build, which is to bring a bunch of Margin Power units. Obviously, this guy's on Power Absorption as well, which includes a lot of the cells. So there really is a lot of different ways you can build a team for this event. He is the other physical unit that we mentioned, basically just for the leader skill, if nothing else, right? Power Absorption or Martian Power. So you can bring a bunch of Boo units. There's a bunch of Cell units on Power Absorption that are on Worldwide Chaos. So he's going to be pretty good. You want to make sure you're getting his 18 key supers, so he's raising his defense, but he can be pretty solid. And then, of course, that opens you up to units like STR Kid Boo, who is a very, very powerful unit. You're not going to be able to use his active skill very early or even at all, right? Because EZAs don't usually last too long. If there's not a Majin Buu Saga enemy, he has to be hit 6 times, which you might be able to get that by like turn 3. Well, no, because you'd have to get it all in one turn. So probably not going to see his active skill, but he's still a very, very powerful unit. The rotation of him with another Buu unit and getting all those links active obviously makes him look very, very good. So as an honourable mention, we have the Tech Buff Buu, or the Majin Buu South Supreme Kai Absorbed. The only reason he's on here is because he's the best link partner for Kid Buu. So He's got okay defense after he supers. As long as your HP is 80% or more, he has 20% damage reduction. He does also recover you a little bit of HP at the end of the turn if he does take a hit. So he could be okay. Could be a bit of a liability in the later stages, but if you're running Kid Buu, it could be worth using him. And then of course we have the AGL Buu Piccolo, who is a power absorption support. So a lot of the units we've talked about already, regardless of whether they're Majin Buu units or not, are on power absorption. So obviously he is a good choice to support if he's covering a bunch of the members on your team, because he's also got type advantage. He's got built-in chance to dodge. He recovers HP at the start of the turn, so he'll be very, very useful for the team. So going back to the overall look at the category, I don't think there's anyone I really missed out. Demon King Piccolo wouldn't be too bad, but he just doesn't really work very well with any of the other units on the team. The free-to-play Zamasu in Goku's body from the, is it 5th anniversary? I mean, he wasn't that great even when he first came out, but if you're running the full Goku Black and Zamasu build and you're missing one final unit, I guess you could throw him on there. I guess Tech Exchange Buu technically does have a better margin power leader skill than physical Buu tanks, and I think his secondary leader skill is artificial life forms as well, so he covers like all of the Buu units and all of the cells, so he could be pretty useful. This Tech 17 is not great, but is a really good link partner for the Tech androids, so he's not a bad choice. Int Kid Buu, I thought about including him as an honorable mention. He heals quite a bit on super attack, but his EZA is pretty outdated now. Definitely missed out Second Form Cell, actually. We should have had Second Form Cell in there. He only supports Android/Cell Saga category allies, but if you are running that particular build of the team, then I would say he's probably like an auto-include on the team. And then no one else really stands out to me, and like I said, I didn't really cover any physical units. So that's going to be it essentially for the top picks and honorable mentions. As I said at the beginning and kind of tried to lay out throughout this guide in particular, there are a couple of very specific paths you can go down for team building. Obviously, you have the tech, if you have the tech androids, you can use any units you want, or you can go for a more Android/Cell Saga build, you can go for a more Goku Black and Zamasu build, or you can go for a Majin Buu sort of build. And a lot of those units fit under each other's leader skills as well. So this one honestly shouldn't be too difficult to build a good team for, unless obviously you're like a brand new player. So let me know what you guys think down below. Like I said at the beginning, if there's any units you think I should have talked about that I didn't, or any aspects of the units that I did talk about that I didn't go into enough detail, make sure you let us know down below and we can continue the discussion in the comment section. And let me know what team you guys are going to be using for this event. I'm interested to see what build you guys are going to put together. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.